Hello, you wonderful people. So for today's video, I'm going to talk about the official trailer that came out for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. If you haven't seen it already, I'll include a link to it in the description down below. But what I think this trailer does a really good job of is setting the tone of this movie. The beginning of the trailer is like very jokey, and then like the tone shifts, because obviously there's this adventure and wonderment element to it, and I think in a way that we've never really gotten with the other Ant-Man movies. But there's all, because I'm not the Star Wars person, because I'm not well versed in Star Wars. I've seen bits and pieces here and there, but some of the stuff in the quantum realm kind of made me almost feel like those are like an alien cantina like you'd see in Star Wars. And so seeing all these different creatures and this world, that it's so interesting, because it's like Ant-Man's smallest adventure might be like the biggest adventure, because it will have the biggest probably implications going forward, because everything related to Kang and everything, because this is going to be the real. This in conjunction with Loki, but I think this in particular is really going to push Kang forward, because we got He Who Remains in Loki. This is going to be Kang, probably, like, who knows? I mean, obviously there's going to be different versions of him throughout like these movies, but the question is, like, is this the main Kang that we're going to be sticking with for a good chunk of time? Is this going to be the main one going forward, and we might see different versions, variants sprinkled in throughout like other stuff, but this might be the main one going forward? Or maybe by the end of this he's dead, but like another version pops up, who knows? First and foremost, like in the jokey side of things, that Scott has enjoyed the celebrity of being a hero. I mean, granted, yes, you're part of the Avengers. You helped save not only the world, Earth. I mean, not even just Earth, geez, the universe in totality. But I feel like he's probably the only one that's kind of living it up the most. Obviously, we heard from, like, Sam's enjoying some celebrity, but he's kind of like living like super low key. It seems like Scott's the one that's kind of living it up the most, potentially, from what we've seen so far. But yeah, like I said, the first part of that trailer was jokey, but then like the moment, and I don't know whether it was just Cassie, because Cassie said like so maybe Hank and Hope were working on it too, but it was a device to send a signal to the quantum realm, which Janet was like, wait, you're doing what? Stop. I mean, and I guess it never really crossed my mind. It's like, right, Janet was in the quantum realm for decades, so she probably got very well versed in a lot of stuff, because we don't know how long Kang's been there, like how long he's been there, why he's been there, why the quantum realm is so important to whatever it is that he's up to. But it begs the question, why hasn't Janet said anything up until now? And the fact is that, like, obviously we've used the quantum realm, and we haven't. Obviously, they didn't fully explore it, but they utilized the quantum realm to do time travel in Endgame. So it does beg the question. Well, I mean, Scott was in there for 5 years, so it makes you wonder, because we really haven't dived into whether there's any residual stuff left over from his time in there. Like, where was he in that time frame? I mean, time probably moves, definitely moves differently in that world. I mean, 5 years compared to like the decades that Janet was there, but she definitely knows a lot more. And I'm curious, like, because Scott's first experience there was like very traumatic, so like he ended up blocking it. That's why he didn't realize, like, oh, I actually ran into Janet and I just didn't remember it, because my mind repressed it just because it was so overwhelming. So maybe there was a similar thing where like he was panicking, he was there for 5 years, and who knows? I'm curious to see how that plays out. And I'm curious if we get to, like, if they play with the notion of like, okay, here's the Avengers time traveling during the quantum realm, and while they're doing all this time traveling during the quantum realm, oh, here's Kang over here doing his own thing, maybe even taking advantage of it. I mean, he's potentially from the future. It could be like, yeah, I already have access to that technology. I built upon the technology that Bruce and Tony came up with, and I just made it my own, and I've made it a lot easier and simplified it, so you guys didn't want this kind of happening, because no one's really utilized the time travel element, but he most likely has. Once again, why the quantum realm and whatever it is, because there's always been the talks about like the Ant-Man movies being kind of heist movies, and I could see like now it's a thing of I get what I need and you get what you want type of situation. It's a quid pro quo type of situation. And in fact, just the way he says Ant-Man, it makes me, because there's a conversations about like a different trailer about some of the lines between Kang and Scott. So part of me wonders, is he really like, he doesn't really know who you are, which it feels very befitting, because like Scott gets no love, especially considering his return was like such a crucial part of the plan of, beating Thanos and restoring half the universe, so gets no love and no respect. There was even this guy being like, oh, thank you, Spider-Man, which is even more funny at this point in time, considering everyone knows who Spider-Man is, yes, but like obviously it's like even the Avengers don't know the kid under the mask anymore, you know, so there's an extra layer of funny. I just love how we're just sprinkling in Spider-Man. It makes sense, especially with him. It's like you're an Ant-Man, he's Spider-Man, you're both bugs, arachnid, but you get what I'm saying. But still, so I think that's just kind of interesting. But it does seem like this will probably be the most serious Ant-Man going forward. And once again, I feel like it's so interesting that it feels like Ant-Man might be a major jump-off point for, like, obviously the Kang stuff going forward first. That it's like, oh, the Ant-Man movies will be the one where stuff like pops off. I think that's what's going to be really, really interesting, because it's like, right, these movies have always been such small scale. Like I said, this is going to be the smallest scale it's ever been, because I think there was already talks that this movie was already going to take place mainly in the quantum realm, and we see it because like most of the trailer is set in the quantum realm. So really deep diving into that world, kind of understanding how it works, and you know, because Kang can get them out of the quantum realm, but it's like, yeah, you're going to need to do something for me first type of thing. So I was so glad to see this trailer, and I'm so excited. Obviously, we're still a couple months out, but I'm so excited to see this movie and see, in the grand scheme of things, what ends up happening, and kind of get our first true taste of Kang to some extent, you know? Because I'm also curious, because like some points his face is blue. It must be like the inside of his mask or something like that makes his face glow blue, because other times it's like, no, it's just Jonathan Major's face, like, you know, so it must be specifically tied to like the helmet he wears, like the mask on it must make it blue, because I thought his face was just naturally blue like that. But either way, I'm excited to see what goes down. But obviously, these are just some of my thoughts. I'd love to get to know yours in the comments down below. What did you think? What are some things you expect to see from the movie? What are some things you want to see from the movie? Let me know. But really, that's all I want to talk about. So the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day, and goodbye.